the street, all the girls that I meet say he's a gangster of love. Yeah. I robbed a local beauty contest for their first place winner. They found her with me out in Hollywood, eating a big steak dinner. They tried to get her to go back to pick up her prize. She stood up and told them, "You just don't realize that he's a gangster of love." Early in the morning, gangster of love. Ooh, yeah, now. When I walk in a bar, girls from near and far say he's a gangster of love. Oh, let me invade a little.
And Friday again, and I'm joined by my good friend Erik Funky Watson. For Gangster of Love by Johnny Guitar Watson. It's been an interesting week listening to this. So this is not somebody that I had even heard of ahead of this week. So quite nice to be introduced to something completely new. So why this album? Why this artist? Why this album?
So the thing is, you and me discussed internally what to do next time, and I was having this guy in my mind, but the thing is, he have made 17 albums, but they are not as strong so much as a whole album. There is 2-3 songs, and there is fillers. And then you said, but it's okay to have a best of. And I said, oh, wonderful. And then I said, a best of. Then I know whom I want to play. So I have his albums, not the 17, but I have his albums from his most famous years. And this is the funny thing, because he was starting in the 50s producing blues and did blues for 20 years. And then he changed direction in the 70s and went into funk. and I felt like, this is when I discovered him in the 70s. So I will show all his records from his areas.
So like I said, hi Andrew. In fact, Andrew is the first person to introduce a best of album with legend Bob Marley. This album, Gangster of Love, is not actually on Apple Music, but looking through Apple Music for trying to find this album, it's like just goes on forever. His track listing, huge output, 17 albums, remarkable.
Yes. And 20 of the first year, he was not so much recognized within the broader audience because he played blues. But other musicians recognized him very much. Among them, Frank Zappa, Etta James, Jimi Hendrix.
Etta James, one of my favorite singers.
Jimmy Stay, Ray Vaughan, Bobby Womack. And he played for several of Frank Zappa's albums. So they knew him. And he has from guitar, within the guitar world, a famous song called Space Guitar that was released 1954.
Right.
And that people say he was decades before everyone else. So if you remember the Duck Walk introduced by Chuck Berry, it was not him who did it. It was Johnny Guitar Watson who did it. But he made it. He is, and playing the guitar style, playing like Jimi Hendrix did. He copied the Johnny Guitar Watson.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that he didn't break into like mega mega stardom, because all of the other people that you mentioned him being associated with, Etta James, Jimi Hendrix, Bobby Womack,
Yes.
Frank Zappa, all of these are household names.
Yes.
Everybody has heard of these people, and yet nobody's heard of Johnny Guitar Watson. And it seems like a terrible shame, really, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's why I was so happy when you could actually do a best of album, because then I could bring his music from the peak. I mean, I've listened to other of his contributions, but this is the peak. Between 76 and 80, he produced 6 albums. And that's what the collection of this yeah records.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in my research of this, it seems like opinion about him is very polarized. So some people kind of talking about how great he was, some people talking about how much of this stuff is like, oh, it's a bit formulaic, it's long past his prime, not amongst his best stuff, and it just seems maybe he doesn't have universal appeal.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So should we start with the first track?
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind that this is, I have had to compile this from
Yeah.
various albums, so it might be that this is not quite the version of each of these songs. But
Yeah, for me it's new also because you never reveal that you had trouble.
yeah. So I Need It.
Yeah, from this is considered among his first breakthrough album.
Mm,
Ain't Life a Bitch?
yeah.
Loving you, it seemed to me, is everything that it should be. I do should be crystal clear to you. You got a thing for me. Even the blind could see something you got. Can't beat it. Oh, well, girl, I need that thing, girl, I need, girl, I need that thing, that baby, I need, oh yeah, girl, say I need. Something you got weakens me.
It's a great start to the album. I can't help feeling it's just a little bit predictable. It's so some of the other stuff that you've kind of brought to the show. It's been it's had some real surprises in it, and this track is kind of like what's coming.
Yeah.
What I would say is that it's a very easy listen. Isn't it?
Yes.
It's very polished. It's very slick. It's you can see him smiling while he's playing this, can't
Yeah,
you?
he was a tremendous live performance. Tremendous. If you see on YouTube a clip from his live performance, the audience loved him. He was a showman.
Yeah, and that kind of that sort of shines through, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's got that sort of typical funk sound, and for someone of my age, there's a kind of comforting familiarity to that kind of Starsky and Hutch era kind of.
Yes, 70s. Yes.
Yeah.
Shaft, the movie Shaft.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Helen.
Yes.
So it's a good start to the album, and it kind of sets even though it's a compilation, it kind of sets the tone for what we can expect, certainly for the next bit.
Yes, that's true. So for me, when I was thinking about, I mean, this is my mission to broaden people's mind regarding the music arena, and and regarding funk, it's easy to sell soul because it's not so difficult. Funk can be very difficult,
Mm.
and you heard P-Funk, for instance, George Clinton, uh, and those records are really, if you don't love, I mean, really funk lovers, you will be almost turned off because it's complicated funk.
Yeah.
So this is funk that are easy to digest.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe that's part of the kind of the joy of this is the fact it's accessible, isn't it?
Yes,
It doesn't sound too much like that Huggy Bear sound from Starsky and Hutch, with
yes,
the big shaggy coat and
yes,
big white shoes. It's got that kind of I don't know, a little bit more sophistication, maybe.
yes, yes, yeah. And also from my point of view, his guitar play, his sound is completely unique. I
Mm.
haven't heard anyone playing guitar the way he plays it, because he doesn't play with uh, it's called Swedish plectrum.
Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
doesn't.
Same
Yeah,
in this country.
okay. So he play with his fingers,
Mm.
and that is not so common among guitar players. And
Not
also,
amongst electric guitar players, no.
no, and also he plays on a Gibson, and I think the Gibson make also the sound. That's those sort
Well,
of combination.
he has played on. He uses a few different guitars. So his normal guitar, uh, his bass guitar, is a Fender Telecaster. My
Yeah, that's 54. Yeah, in his
yeah,
50s. But
it,
when
just
the 70s
just like that
come,
one, just like that
yes,
one.
yes, exactly.
Um,
And,
but
and yeah,
yeah, but he's
but in
also
the 70s, he started to play with the Gibson.
yeah, and so the same kind of guitar that Chuck Berry uses.
Yes,
So a semi-acoustic
yes,
335. Yeah, and it is an unusual sound. There's lots of kind of wah on it, you know. So on to track two, Superman Lover. Should
yeah,
we have a
yeah,
blast of this?
yes, yes.
I'm stronger than a locomotive. Yeah, that old saying is true. But I can't understand sometimes, baby, why I'm so weak for you. Listen, I can leap tall buildings in a single bound. When it come to getting over you, baby, well, I can't get off the ground. But they call me the Superman lover, yeah. Say they call me the Superman lover, yeah. But something wrong with me, this shit. Something wrong, yeah, yeah, this is.
This is more like it for me. Settled into a bit of a groove here,
Yes,
and it's a very clean kind of mix, isn't it? Where you can
yes.
hear all of the instruments that are playing, and it's not doesn't sound overproduced.
And I don't know if you know that he plays almost everything himself except the drums. So he was a wonder boy. So he started to play. His father was a pianist. His grandfather had a guitar. So he started as a kid, promising his grandfather not to play blues he was born in 35.
Mm.
So he grew up in Houston. Later on, they moved to Los Angeles. But as a kid, his grandfather had to promise not to play the blues because that was the devil's music. But he couldn't he couldn't keep that promise.
Yeah,
But
but when the
everything,
blues calls,
yes.
you have to answer, don't you?
So he started as a pianist, but then he went to play the guitar already in 1954. So he produced this space guitar that I mentioned. Uh,
Mm.
the first year was only an on recording playing guitar, but he plays saxophones and bass and other instruments also.
So not really any talent then. Yeah, yeah, and it is remarkable. I mean, that's like when you see people like Paul McCartney, or Stevie Wonder, when basically whatever's on the stage they can pick
Yes,
up and make a
yeah,
tune with it, and it's incredibly impressive, isn't it?
yeah, yes,
It just is a vehicle for expressing themselves and their
yes.
creativity. Um, but yeah, I mean, this I felt was definitely one of the stronger tracks on the album.
And he's funny to see. I don't know. I can recommend to watch on YouTube because he is Superman lover. His style is like a pimp,
Mm, yeah, I mean,
uh,
it's got that sort of
a style.
I guess Harlem sound to it.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So track 3, "Ain't That a Bitch" from the album "Ain't
The
That a
first
Bitch."
album. Yeah.
So here we go.
Lord have mercy. I can't get ahead, no way I try. Everything is out of pocket. Somebody do something. The present situation is abstract. Listen. Listen. I'm working 40 hours, 6 long days, and I'm highly embarrassed every time I get my pay. And they're working everybody. Lord, they're working poor folks to death. And when you pay your rent and your car note, you ain't got a damn thing left. Ain't that a bitch? Yes, it is. Somebody doing something slick. Yeah, they are. It's got me wondering which is which. Might as well go uptown and dig a ditch. Ain't that a bitch? Yes, it is.
I guess that when that album came out, "Ain't That a Bitch," that must have been quite risque at that time, mustn't it?
This is so wonderful because you introduced me to the story behind it, and it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Uh, he was at that time. This came out 76. He was labelless 75, so he didn't have any label. And I need to read now from an English publisher, Dirk James. Do you recognize the name?
No.
He had his record company DJM,
Hmm.
DJM, and they had the portfolio of Beatles and Elton John in the 60s. So the legendary British blues producer Mike Vernon, I don't know about Mike Vernon, but yeah, he made Blues Breakers and Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
He introduced Watson to this Dirk James. So he signed him for an album. And the story is like this: the DJM Records signed him to make an album, no strings attached. It was because they had planned to use the album as a tax write-off against the revenues generated by Elton John's records and publishing rights. So they were not thinking that it should actually be a good record. So yeah, and it became a really good album.
A bit like the music equivalent of the film The Producers, or
Yes,
but
yes,
yeah,
yes. Good. Yes,
yeah,
yes, exactly.
yeah.
Wow.
No, fantastic,
Yeah. So
fantastic.
it went gold. That's his first gold record.
But I think that sometimes when artists are freed of the shackles of doing a particular thing. So I remember when Prince signed to Sony Music,
I think so.
and
And then
they made him like president of music or whatever, and a huge, multi-million-dollar deal. Uh, and he said, I will do. Prince will do all of the following albums, or the next 20 albums. You'll get exclusivity on. And then he goes, okay, well, I'm not Prince anymore.
yes.
I'm Symbol.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're like, but,
Yes.
oh shit,
Yeah.
and they haven't written that into the contract. Hence the name change to Symbol and a move in a completely different direction.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of quite good when stuff like that. Okay, so a real mother for you.
Yeah. That's the follow up. The second. It went gold
Warner
also.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Andre. Yeah, a real mother for you from the album. A real
The
mother.
second album from '77. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this album has got lots of tracks that are title tracks on it.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Wanna buy a new car, but the price ain't right. Here that go. Be a downside cheaper. Yes, it do. Start riding a bike. Listen, they're making milk out of powder. Yeah, they are. Got the babies crying. Poor baby, they know what that stuff is. Rich gone up higher. Yes, it is. Got the parents lying. Lord, it's a real motherfucker. Yeah. Make you wanna run for cover. Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about this album, and we'll hear an early track in a minute, but I think it is the breadth of musical sound that he's got on his career. And I'm just looking at the notes here. So this came from A Real Mother for You, which was 1977. But his career started back in the 50s. So, we're talking about a significant amount of time after he started, and a huge change from the kind of almost like the bluesy, rock and rolly kind of sound of earlier on in his career.
Yeah. So what I can recollect is he's the only one that have made completely different path after 20 years and went to some other genre.
Yeah, I mean, a complete shift.
Yeah.
So on to Funk Beyond the Call of Duty from the album Funk Beyond the Call of Duty also from 1977.
Yeah.
So like you said, this was like a purple patch. So in 75 we had the album Gangster is Back, and then 76 Ain't That a Bitch, and then A Real Mother for You in 77, Funk Beyond the Call of Duty in 77, Giant in 78, What the Hell Is This 79, Love Jones 1980. I mean, it's like every year he's bringing out an album, sometimes more.
Yeah. So you can see his style also. That's his unique style.
Yeah. So here we go. Funk Beyond the Call of Duty.
Sing some funk, beyond all the new tag. I'm gonna sing some funk, 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 beyond all the new tag. Listen, I'm gonna say, funk, yeah. Listen, gonna jump, gonna shout, gonna shout, gonna jump and see you come. You're gonna shout, gonna make you come, gonna shout and see you come.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this period when he was putting out lots of stuff, some of these tracks are a bit samey.
Yes, yes.
I think what's quite interesting though is that there are a couple of bits in there that little musical ideas that you see cropping up in other places. So at the start of that, there's that which is pretty much played exactly the same way on a Michael Jackson track. I forget.
Yes. Yes.
Just Good Friends. Michael Jackson uses exactly that little motif.
Yes.
And so I think it's kind of quite interesting, like Andrew says, you can hear that this has influenced a lot of different people along the way.
Yeah, so musicians was inspired by him.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said we won't bother with the next track because we're a bit tight for time, but on to Gangster of Love.
Yeah.
Title track, this is the one for me.
So this is a story about it because he recorded it twice. First, 1957 as a blues song, and then he got a hit himself, and no one noticed that at that time. Steve Miller made a copy that he made 68. That was actually a small hit, Steve Miller band. And then he made the huge hit himself when he came out the second time, now with the funk version. So I'm curious to hear what version you have now, the blues version of the funk.
So I think the blues version.
Okay, it's that's good also. Yeah.
Yeah. So this I just absolutely loved.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved this.
Yeah.
And I think this showcased his ability on the guitar, but also kind of quite enough. Anyway, let's have a listen.
Think of this. When he did this, 57, he was 22. He was born 35.
Yeah.
Rather young guy.
Jesse James and Frank James, Billy Kid, all the rest. Supposed to be some bad cats out there in the West. But when they dug me and my gangster ways, they hung up their guns and made it to the grave. 'Cause I'm a gangster of love. Say I'm a gangster of love.
It is the devil's music. That's why I love it. That's why I love it.
Well, now, when I walk down the street, all the girls that I meet say he's a gangster of love. Yeah. I robbed a local beauty contest for their first place winner. They found her with me out in Hollywood, eating a big steak dinner. They tried to get her to go back to pick up her prize. She stood up and told them, "You just don't realize that he's a gangster of love."
The thing that I love about this is that there's a real purity to it. The lyrics all hang really nicely together. I just love it. Absolutely love it. I'm sorry, it's not the one that you wanted me to play.
That's the thing with him. He makes a cover of himself, his own song, and I really like the first version also. So because that's the blues version, and it's nothing wrong with that. It's good. It's a good, damn good. And for me, I also appreciate his lyrics because he's rather funny if you listen to his lyrics.
Yeah,
So not only write the music, he also write the lyrics. He does everything himself.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think that
Yes.
this is it's really interesting how he in the later version of this, he completely reworks the sound.
Yeah.
But I think that's quite an interesting thing that musicians do, and I it's something that I would always, I think, struggle with. So
Yeah.
a good example of that is that we did Solidaire by John Martin, Helen and I, 6 months ago. And in the extended version of the album, there's May You Never, that is the recorded version that was released, and then another, in fact, two other versions, where obviously they're just playing it through in the studio, and it's like a completely different song, even though it's the same song, I find that fascinating how they can, really skillful musicians can ring out so many different
Yes.
attributes from a sort of chord progression or
Yes.
a lyric. So we probably have got time to do the other tracks actually. So Love That Will Not Die from
No.
Beyond the Call of Duty
No.
again.
No. 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 Not that one.
No, no.
It's hang on, Frank Jackson, Booty Ooty, Booty
Okay.
Ooty.
So this is from the album Love Jones, which was from 1980.
This is one favorite of mine.
Incredible, unforgettable. To watch you shake your booty to the ground. It's awful nice. It's paradise. Got me getting up while you're getting down. Everybody says you're a cutie when you shake your booty to the ground. Everybody says you're a cutie when you shake your booty to the ground. When you shake it to the first one, oh yeah. When you shake it to the first one, two, wow. When you shake it to the first one, three, just down the one down. When you shake it to the first row, four, hey baby. People drive from miles around to see you shake your booty to the ground. Let me get my car. People drive from miles around to see you shake your booty to the ground. Get down, put your back set.
I think listening to the different tracks in this, particularly because there's quite a frequency to the albums that are coming out, and we're drawing sort of a track or two from each of these albums. I think what's really interesting is hearing how musical fashions have changed
Yes.
through this. So here, for the first time, we've got that kind of close mic clapping going on, which we haven't heard on any of the other ones. But it's so this was 1980 when that was just becoming
Yes.
kind of quite fashionable.
This is a little bit Cool and the Gang feeling.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's kind of quite interesting, isn't it, watching those kind of musical techniques come in over the course of the period.
So I saw him live in Stockholm, and since I knew that he made his records by himself almost, so I was a little bit hesitant. How will it sound live?
Mm,
Since his sound was created by himself, but he had a really good band, and I was blown away because not only it sounded exactly like on the record. For me, that is important.
yeah.
Uh, but it's also he was such a showman.
Mm,
He blew away the audience. Very few people in the audience knew who he was, So it was a jazz festival in Stockholm. You know, when you have hundreds of artists, and his set, what he did, he had 1 hour, I think, and the audience was in ecstasy. It was so fantastic to see. Wonderful, good memory.
Yeah, yeah, and again, you know, you can see that this is something where you really get the impression that he's just having fun.
Yes,
You know,
he has. That's
and
shown on YouTube clips when
yeah,
he's walking. He goes out in the audience, yeah, and have a lot of fun, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah, and it comes through in the music. You know, so often. Yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
Andrew.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah, yeah, it comes through in the music. There's a kind of joy to it, isn't there? And a kind of upbeat tempo and kind of feel to it that is, yeah, just very charming.
Yes, yes.
So, Love Jones
This
from
is his first ballad,
yeah.
and I have actually tried to find out who his. This is a duet, but I have not been able to, through Google search, because he doesn't state on the album who he sings with, unfortunately, because she should have credit also. I like it.
I'm just googling it now.
You think you can find it?
No, I don't at all. Uh, yeah, no, no, it's not immediately
Mystery.
obvious, is it?
No, it's a mystery. It's a
Oh,
little bit sad.
yeah. So his first ballad.
Yeah.
Yes. You can already see the open fire and the shag pile carpet, can't you?
Smooth.
You're just waiting for Barry White.
Yeah.
I think I know why I love you so. I think I know why I need you. I want to go wherever you go. Whatever you say, I believe you. You make me helpless. Can't stand the times when you're gone. I just can't help it. Oh, we got a love Jones. Ooh, oh, a love Jones. Oh, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. It's you before and after. What can I do? Can I do? Can I do? Nothing else seems to matter. You make me helpless. Can't stand the times when you're gone. No, I can't. I just can't help it. Oh, we got a love Jones.
Yeah, I was frantically googling, trying to work out who it was because I feel that I do know the voice.
Yeah, I recognize the voice also. That's what's annoying me.
Yeah, that's exactly the vibe, isn't it? Yeah,
Spot on, Andrew.
yeah, but it is, you know, there's something very 70s, and you know, as I get older I become quite nostalgic about my
You're
childhood.
not alone.
Yeah, no, I know. um, and there was a kind of there was a simplicity to life back then, wasn't there? And
Oh,
you know, which, although, you know, as Jimmy Carr said, you know, objectively everything is better now than it used to be, everything.
yeah.
You know, we're so fortunate to be living at this time.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't stop you looking back with rose-tinted glasses, thinking to yourself, "Oh, I do miss some of this stuff."
True.
But yeah, I mean that's a lovely, soothing vibe, isn't it? You definitely need a glass of, well, probably rosé from this
Yeah.
period, don't
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Matisse rosé or
Yes.
something.
Not Matthias.
Yeah, yeah, but that was it. Blue Nun or something like that. Because that was good. But it's interesting, isn't it? How all of this stuff has kind of stuff that we thought back then was a
Yes.
treat. You know, like
Yeah.
a can of ravioli was a
Yeah.
treat, and now you'd go, I'm not eating that
So you're
because I.
getting glassy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, telephone bill again
Yeah.
from the
This
album.
is a classic song. It's very much loved by his audience, and the telephone bill. You need to know how life was, as you said, in the 70s. Long distance call. Listen to the lyrics. Really, really funny because
Mm.
he talks to a lady that lives in another state. And I don't know if in UK you had the same rating, but I mean, in the 70s, it was quite expensive to have a long distance call.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much of this stuff that there's a fantastic video of this father, and he's got his two sons who are in their teens, and he's got like a bowl, and he says, if you can work out how this works, I'll give you like $50. And he takes the bowl off, and it's an old-fashioned telephone with a dial. Says you have to dial this number, and it's like that.
No, they don't get it.
You know, so no, you got to hang up and then try again, and it's like just unbelievable. And you know, the young people of today that have not experienced this stuff, you know, it's like when you were talking to your girlfriend and you would get the stretch the phone as long as it would go and get into another room and sit behind the door. You know, it's like this stuff. They'll never understand the joy of it, will they?
So
So here we go. Telephone bill.
listen to the lyrics; it's wonderful.
Everybody rapping and talking about nothing and making them sexy sounds. And in the meantime and in between time, I'm down here on the ground. Well, now, I'm not complaining about what's pertaining to my present status quo, but things getting hard. Oh my God, inflation. I know you know. Listen, now just yesterday, I'd like to say, before I got out of my bed, now I was already tired on the for real side and a few bills I got to pay. Now my phone rang and the cute little girl began to sing this tune. She said, Mr. Watson, I'd like to inform you your phone gets turned off at noon. Now that came to me as no surprise, cause last week I went up the coast. I met a cute little girl that was all the way live, and calling her I thought was the most. She had them red big eyes and red big legs, and it gave my body a chill. So you know I never thought about the cost of a telephone bill. So I just kept on rapping, my hands kept clapping, having myself a ball. You know, it slipped my mind. It was same time I was making a on this call. So the day before yesterday, I was running through the farmer just making them calls and hollers. And I picked up the envelope that contained my bill. Guess what? $500. Now the next time I call this big black cutie to make myself a date, I'm gonna call that girl way after 9 and get me the evening rate. Now I ain't gonna tell her, I ain't telling her nothing to blow my front thing, but it'll be way after 9 when she hear her telephone ring. Ring it, ring it, ring that telephone, ring it.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny.
Yeah.
It's also quite interesting because you know there are elements of kind of like rap, hip hop in here in terms of how he delivers the lyrics, which again quite a way ahead of their time.
Yes, so had quite some ego, and some people have difficulties with his ego. And one thing he said that he was the founder and starter of the rap music.
Yeah, yeah, and you can kind of hear it in that because
Yes, yes,
there's a little bit of particularly in how what is it the Sugar Hill Gang.
yes. It came out the same year. It came out the same year.
You know,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
And again, I guess it's fashion, isn't it, of that era when that kind of music was just starting to break through, and and there are so many elements in the album that you can kind of date it based on the way that the music is produced, or some of the sound effects and whatever that's going on. Which brings us on to the last track. What the hell is this? From the album Best of the Funk Years.
But it seems I stay on vacation. Economy's low in our nation. Let me tell you something. Look, got me running through the city like a chicken with a dick off. Trying to find a dog, give me something down. The real nitty gritty is a pity, what the heck, y'all? Everywhere I go, they just turn me down. Not today is what they say. Find a needle in the hay. Promises, they never stop. You know it's getting hard now when you can't find a job. And Jack in the box, damn. Brother got a job that finally paid off. 2 days later, he got laid off. Made him sick and he needed a doctor. When his wife got the deal, shot.
Brilliant. A great end to the album as well.
Yes. So, and unfortunately, at the end of the album, this is 1980, he had a very good friend and musician, Larry Williams, who was shot to death. And he became very sad and also started using drugs. So he was away for a number of years, unfortunately. He made one album later, 94, and 96 he was performing in Japan. It was May 17, 96. He suffered a heart attack on stage. And this is amazing because he has just finished the first song, Superman Lover. So the audience didn't, because since he was such a showman, the audience didn't understand he got a heart attack. So he just turned around, fell, he took the mic in his hand and fell, and thought it was part of the act. So very dramatic. And one of the musicians said that Johnny once said if he died, he wanted to die on stage. And his daughter Virginia also confirmed. My father always said when it was time to go, he wanted to be on stage and not knowing what hit him, and that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of quite nice that his wish was fulfilled.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice he got to go the way he wanted to go.
Yes.
But a bit dramatic and not great for the audience, really.
No, unbelievable.
I wonder if they got a refund. No, but I mean, it's joking aside. It's not great for the audience.
So it's a resemblance a little bit regarding, if you know, Chic was two guys, Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards.
Yeah.
And Bernard Edwards died after a gig in Yokohama They made the performance, the whole concert, but he had pneumonia, and he didn't tell the band how bad pneumonia was. So when they went out for dinner afterwards, he said, "No, I'm tired. I'm going up to the room." And then yeah, so found him the
So,
next morning.
so what we're saying is the moral of this story is if you're a musician, don't tour to Japan.
Exactly. When you're late age, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh dear.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I have since I know you liked Etta James. So
Mm.
now I will read from Etta James. Her own words, they call Elvis the king, but sure enough, the king was Johnny Guitar Watson. I got everything from Johnny. He was my main model. My whole ballad style comes from imitating Johnny's style. He taught me to sing blues, he taught me to sing ballads, he taught me to sing rock. He was the baddest and the best. He was not just a guitarist. He was the man. The man was a master musician. He could call out the charts. He could write a beautiful melody or a nasty groove at the drop of a hat. He could lay on the harmonies. He could come up with the whole song. He was a piano player, but not an okay player. He was but a motherfucker on the piano. He tore up the sax, the alto, the tenor, you name it. He blew the flute so pretty birds flew out of the trees. People have said that I'm the female Johnny Guitar. Well, that's a hell of a compliment.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a good,
That's a good
a
story.
good,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
good
From
testimonial
her
there.
mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's been a funny week. I have really enjoyed listening to this. I think I gravitate more towards his earlier stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
the blues space.
more blues than funk. Um, Clearly a trailblazer and an innovator in his music, um, and I don't understand how somebody that's uh, so influential, so talented, so versatile, uh, is able to be so invisible in the musical world, because you know there's clearly no justice. Um,
Yeah, that's
so,
that's 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 true. That's true.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, but you know, I think that I'm really glad that you brought the album, and I'm looking forward to what you're going to bring next. Um, m- m-
I don't put the pressure on.
yeah, well, you know, it's
And that's I mean that's the ambition is to to continue on the path. It's more difficult for each time.
yeah, but you know, they don't all have to be great albums. They can you know,
A bad album.
but there will be,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah, but
And you know, during the course of the show, so this is show number 132, and during the course of the show, there've been albums that I have loved, albums that I have been really surprised, pleasantly surprised by, albums that I've thought have been shocking.
yeah,
Some of the albums that I thought have been shocking are albums that I brought, saying this is going to be really good, and it's been a terrible disappointment. So you know, I think, like with so much of art and how you feel about stuff, a lot of it has to do with where you are as well as what it is, doesn't it? You know, so at certain points in your life, you listen to something and it means a lot to you, and then when you come back to it years later and listen to it again, you can't really see what you liked so much about it, um, or the other way around. You know, it's like I've read books and I've read them once and I've thought they're dreadful, and I've tried them again 20 years later and thought they're brilliant. And the only thing that's changed has been me.
yeah.
So, so thank you very much for bringing this. Uh, I'm not sure who we've got coming on next week. So that'd be a surprise for me when I check back over my notes. Um, and all of you in the audience, thank you as always for all of your fantastic input and comments. And please make sure that you bring your albums soon. So until next time, thank you, Erik. Thank you, everybody in the audience.